Things just got out of hand.
Oh, jeez.
So,
Oh, jeez.
hey, Khalifa.
Hi. We don't even need to do a greeting for this one. We don't even need to do a greeting for this one.
For those who are only listening to this episode, hi, welcome to MK for another Spoilercast. This time, it is on Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, a movie that we were both very excited for.
Yeah.
It was at the top of our anticipation lists, and not just in movies but in anything. Yeah, we were obviously very excited. Context, it got banned in our country, so we had to travel to watch it.
Yeah, we were so excited for this movie that we traveled to another country to watch it. Like, we were not gonna miss this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the formalities out of the way. Do you want to get
start?
into it? Yeah, you can start.
Okay. So we travel to Dubai, right?
Mm-hmm.
We sleep. I wake up on the day of the movie extremely sick, and as you can see, or as you can hear, I still am very sick. My voice sounds a little raspy. I wake up, fever, like a crazy fever. My throat hurts. My nose is stuffed, and I'm like, wow, this is terrible. On the day of the movie, I'm not going to be able to enjoy it. Little did I know, it was a warning sign from God, warning me to not go see this fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
We went and saw the movie. I want to gloss over the movie for a second. We went and saw the movie. We came out of it. We went back to the hotel room, and I kid you not, I wanted to start crying. I was gonna start crying over a fucking Marvel movie because I was so disappointed. I was crushed.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this movie was terrible. I hated it. I hate Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I reviewed it yesterday, or when we saw it. Was that yesterday, technically?
It was technically 2 days ago.
I reviewed it, gave it 3 stars. Went back today, dropped it to a 2.5. Considering dropping it to a 2, I do not like this movie on any level. I think it completely fails as a WandaVision sequel. I think it fails as a sequel to the first Doctor Strange movie. I think it fails at being a movie with a cohesive plot. I think it fails as a movie that has emotional moments. I think it fails at a lot of those things. And I'm just so extremely disappointed by it. I'm really, really disappointed.
And I feel like I need to tell this to the audience. Khalifa didn't go into the movie for the cameos like a lot of people are. The discourse that I'm seeing online is people are disappointed that they weren't cameos. And it's like, okay, no, that's not what we were going for.
No, I went into the movie as a WandaVision fan. WandaVision is my favorite MCU project. It's yours too. Mm-hmm. It was such a special experience for me. And to me, in my head, WandaVision is like a level above everything else. Mm-hmm. that has come out of the MCU, and I really, really adore it and appreciate it on that level. So I went into Multiverse of Madness wanting to see Wanda's character journey, wanting to see where that story, how that story is going to affect her character in this movie, where they're going to go with her. And I was just shocked at mm-hmm. what I got. I was just shocked. I feel like I always clown Star Wars fans for being like, oh, you ruined the character, whatever. I'm like, fuck off, whatever. I think I understood the Star Wars fans in that moment. I was like, what are you doing to Wanda? This is not the person I fell in love with. It's just not. Mm-hmm. And I've been hearing the counter argument of oh, we're gonna get into it a lot, but I've been hearing the counter argument of oh, she's possessed by the Darkhold, whatever. Okay, fine, whatever. Why do that story? Why go that direction? That's so stupid. The purpose of WandaVision was that at the end of it, Wanda has accepted that her children were not real. She has accepted that what she was doing was wrong. And she let go of all of it. She quote unquote got over it. Like, she was still depressed about it. She was still sad about it,
Mm-hmm.
but she chose to let everything go for the sake of everything that was happening.
Yeah.
Only for it to then only for her to get possessed by the Darkhold and then rehash the same story of her like wanting children again. Like, we just went through that,
Mm-hmm.
and you let it go. Like, why are we doing this again? You know what I mean? And this, like, why are we doing this again in a much less good way? Putting it
Yeah.
putting it simply, like, it's just
Mm-hmm.
more. It's just the same thing but worse.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I
for
don't
sure,
know.
for sure. Yeah.
I was just crushed by this movie. I can't. And like, aside from all of that, I'm not the biggest fan of the first Doctor Strange movie, but even then, it doesn't really play off of those threads. Even like, nothing happens with Mordo, who at the end of the first movie is set up as this like huge villain.
That's this next villain. Yeah.
He's not in this movie at all. He's like his alternate version is in this movie, and he's on screen for like 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not like played off of. Um, like, I don't know. Michael Stuhlbarg appears in one scene for no reason. Um, Christine is in this movie for 5 seconds, and we get like two or fucking however many alternate versions of her. It's like even as someone who didn't like Doctor Strange that much,
Mm-hmm.
it still pissed me off in like in that sense of like, this isn't even like, you're not even doing a Doctor Strange sequel. Like, I get it if you weren't gonna do a WandaVision sequel, whatever. It's a Doctor Strange movie, but this isn't
Yeah.
even a Doctor Strange 2. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? You're just doing whatever the fuck you want, Sam Raimi, and it's not giving. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
give. And speaking of, I'm not particularly like the biggest fan of Sam Raimi's style. So all the Sam Raimi, uh, touches and whatever did not work for me. I hate his style of camp. I just hate it. Sorry, Sam Raimi movies are not for me. I know people love them. They're just not for me. So it's like,
Go
like
off.
across the board, this movie was just like not working for me on any level. I hated it. I hated it, and I was crushed. And I know hate is a strong word. I was talking about this on Discord yesterday with like my movie people, and I mentioned that I hated the movie and I thought it was a mess. Someone said, you gave it 3 stars and you thought you fucking hated it and it was a mess. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And I was like, compared to what I was expecting, like, I think this is a fine movie. Like, I was never
Mm-hmm.
bored. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I still
Oh,
watched
for
it,
sure. Mm-hmm.
but compared to what I was expecting, this was a mess. Like, this was terrible. You know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. What are your thoughts?
Go off. I
Sorry, I
I
just needed
wanted
to let that out. I just needed
no,
to let it
I
out.
wanted to add in some ad libs here and there, but I was like, okay, this is the monologue. I'm not I'm not gonna say anything. Um. Okay, let me say this. I think not anyone. I think everyone that went into the movie, no matter what their expectation was, left the movie with some kind of disappointment.
Yeah,
For sure, across the board.
I agree.
Okay? The thing that frustrates me the most about this is that they had every piece of the puzzle, like every piece of the puzzle was there. It just wasn't arranged properly, to make like a cohesive puzzle. What do you call it? Like a completed puzzle thing?
A completed
Yeah. Yeah.
puzzle. I will say I love that allegory because I used it for Eternals.
Uh-huh.
I said they had all the puzzle pieces. They just put them, like, stuck them together in a weird way. To
Yeah.
me, this movie, they were missing like half the puzzle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they were missing pieces. Like, they couldn't even put it together properly.
Mhm.
Like, that's how I feel about this movie. But yeah, please continue.
Okay. Okay, I am gonna say, I am not as down on the movie as you are,
Yes.
and I feel like, okay, there are definitely things that disappointed me. There's a lot of things that I had problems with in the movie. I had a huge problem with Wanda's treatment in the movie. I had a huge problem with the Sam Raimi isms. I'm okay with Sam Raimi. I'm not like I'm all right with Sam Raimi. Some of his movies I actually like,
Yeah.
but I do think he was given a little bit too much creative freedom in some parts of this movie. Um, but I also don't want to fully blame him because Michael Waldron was in the writing room too. So
I will
like,
say, I want to clarify. I do not put all of this on Sam Raimi. I think I have
Mhm.
issues with the direction and dialogue, and I think Sam Raimi has a lot to do with that. But I think the Wanda's overall arc was not his decision. I
Yeah,
think
for sure.
that was set up at the end of WandaVision. Like whoever wrote WandaVision's post-credit scene, the second one,
Hmm.
he set this movie up like down. He set this
Yeah.
movie up to fail
Oh yeah,
because
yeah,
that
for
did
sure,
not need to happen.
for
But I will
sure.
say, WandaVision's second post-credit scene implies Wanda looked kind of like a little crazy,
Yeah.
but it implies that she heard her children and she was going to go save them. It did not
Mhm.
imply that she was going to go on a crazy killing rampage to like save them. You know what I mean? Like
in
you could have taken
hindsight,
that
in
somewhere else.
hindsight, in hindsight, it is a little bit jarring to watch the final episode of WandaVision and see like when she gets the costume and see how like the resolve that she has, and she goes and like she lets go of like the hex, and she says goodbye to Vision, and everything, like like the scene when she's in like the house,
Yes.
the unbuilt house, and then she just walks off, and like she talks to Monica, and then she flies off. It's like, okay, this character has resolved. She regrets what she did, blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
then a few minutes later, you see her
She
like in the woods, and she's like conjuring up like the dark hold. It's like,
I
okay, what?
can't. And this movie is like supposed to take place right after WandaVision because
Mm-hmm.
it was supposed to come out like right after.
Mm.
So like literally like all of this shit is happening like a few days after all of that. And it's like
I'm
you
assuming some time did pass. I'm assuming because um the way that they talked about the WandaVision events, it was like, okay, like this happened
that
a
is
short
true.
while ago.
That is true. She was like, you showed up, you want to talk about what happened at Westview, blah blah blah. I would say like not a long time, but like maybe a few weeks, I will say. Maybe it's not right after, but
Mhm.
I think maybe a few weeks after WandaVision. Yeah.
I would say it's like enough time for her to get a new costume, um, because there's no way that like I don't know, she had to get the costume tailored, right? Like
I thought,
she was
oh,
like, this is not for me.
I thought the corruption of the Darkhold corrupted her older costume because that's the excuse everybody's using for everything in this movie.
Oh, mate, I could see. Okay, I could see that maybe. Anyways, I
Sure.
I I had a problem with the treatment of Wanda. I had a problem with the Sam Raimi isms. I had a problem with some of the like. Okay, I'm gonna say something. This felt like a movie that wasn't from the 2020s. This
This
very
was
much
giving 2005.
this was 2006, 2007 comic book
Yeah.
movie, like this
Yeah.
was, if this movie came out in 2007, this would have ate.
Yeah.
Okay? Because that was the style back then.
Yeah.
But this is not the style anymore. And I
In
feel like
hindsight, not
uh-huh.
in hindsight, just something interesting. I rewatched all of the X-Men movies before this.
Mhm.
And this definitely like I was watching like Days of Future Past, which came out in 2014, feels more modern than this.
Mm.
This feels like an old movie. Like the way it's
Yeah.
paced, the way it's shot, the CGI, like it
Mhm.
feels old. Like the not just the CGI was like there's a little bit of wonkiness there, but
Mhm.
like the designs of the enemies, like it's very much like 2000 like mid 2000s.
Mhm. Oh, for sure, for sure. It felt very old. It felt kind of clunky and unpolished compared to the rest of the MCU. It's like, I don't know how this fits into the MCU. And again, I don't hate this movie, but I do have a lot of problems with it. Um, it just feels unpolished, like in a lot of areas. And like even when it ended, we were both just whelmed. We were just quiet.
Yeah, I was just like I remember when we watched Rise of Skywalker together, and I
Hmm.
knew the movie was terrible. Like I was making faces and shit, whatever. Like I was like, oh my god, this was terrible, but I'm having fun.
Yeah.
I was like angry when this movie ended. I was so sad. I
Yeah,
was
you were
just sad.
angry. I Even though like we made a deal for you not to say anything during the movie, I felt this immense heat from
I could,
from my right.
but I couldn't. Like there was a moment where like you looked at me during the musical fight. You
Yeah,
looked at me and you're like, what? And I was like, I can't. I don't know
because
what I'm watching.
Khalifa, I got burned by that fight. Like I felt like a spark touched me. I was like, oh, like I knew that didn't sit right with you. I hated the musical fight, by the way. I did not like it. I I was I was okay. I was alright with the ride during the entire movie. I like the movie lost me when we went to like the doctor the strange that our strange fought the musical fight with. When we
Yeah,
got there, that's when I lost it. That's when I think shit hit the fan the most because we get Christine's "Go back to hell" and we
I can't. I can't. I was like, is she a Ghostbuster now? Okay. And they never go over that again, by the
this
way.
was
Like, how did she know how to do that?
yeah well we assume in this universe she like in this
Oh,
universe she knew
sure,
her
I
shit.
guess. By the way, for a movie called Multiverse of Madness, they went to some really fucking boring universes, I will say. Like, come up,
Yeah.
like, the universes, I wish there was, like, when they were, like, flying through the portals, there was a bunch of, like, cool looking universes, and they ended up in the
Mhm.
most boring ones. Like, there was an animated one. Like, I wish, like 30% of this movie was animated. That would have eaten me.
Yeah, that would have
You know
been
what I mean?
really cool. Yeah, yeah.
Like, you can go anywhere and you choose these three. I don't
And
know.
like for like okay, also in the vastness of the multiverse, every universe that Wanda saw in this movie had just her kids and not Vision with her. But
That's, listen, thank you for saying that. Um, to preface this, Sam Raimi did not watch WandaVision. And it's
mhm,
very clear.
mhm,
Because how in the world is Vision not in these like worlds she's seeing or that she
mhm.
wants to go to?
And how
It's
is
the
he
love of her
not an
life.
ounce of her motivation? Her
I don't
full
know.
motivation is her
I
kids.
I don't know. I
Like
don't know.
Like fuck them kids. Like even in WandaVision, the goodbye to the kids was like whatever, but the
Yeah,
goodbye to
the goodbye with
Vision, like
Vision is the one that hit.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's like it makes no sense. I I don't know. I don't know.
this it's just weird. It's just weird. I
That's
mean,
what that's why I keep saying like it fails as a WandaVision sequel because it doesn't feel like it. Like it doesn't. A lot of this feels like it was made by someone that didn't watch WandaVision, and
mhm.
it was. But I'm sure like Michael Waldron watched all 9 episodes of WandaVision. Like he had to.
He
You know what
had
I
to for
mean?
sure. Yeah, yeah.
And
Apparently, Sam Raimi. By the way, apparently that quote got really taken out of context. He didn't see the entirety of WandaVision. That is true, but
they gave him like the most major stuff.
yeah, yeah. Like
But
they did
then
show him like the
But
most
then when you get when
parts.
you if you wanna if you they showed him what like Wanda saying goodbye and then her getting her costume and fighting with
Yeah,
Agatha. The point of WandaVision was the emotional journey of the
yeah,
character.
yeah, for sure.
You can't look at the highlights reels of that. You can't
Mhm.
look at the spark notes of that. Like that's the
Yeah,
whole
for
point of the
sure.
show. So I don't know, that just pisses me off more. Like if you want to do whatever the fuck you want, sure.
Mhm.
Don't watch the highlight. I don't know. Like
I feel like
this
it
is
would have been cool if the Illuminati had a version of Vision. I feel like that would have made things a little bit more interesting.
The Illuminati was so fucking boring. Can I say? I'm sorry. I checked out of this movie when the Illuminati scene started. That's when I checked out.
Yeah.
Like my last vocal reaction, if you can
No, wait.
remember.
I feel like the first time that we both were like, okay, let's take a step back was when Bruce Campbell showed up in that universe. We both looked at each other and we were like, okay,
Okay,
let's step back.
and he was doing the punching himself thing, and I'm like, oh, this is Sam Raimi. Okay, that's like I don't vibe with Sam. I fucking hate Sam Raimi. I'm sorry. Like nothing against Sam Raimi as a person. I'm sure he's very lovely. I just fucking hate his movies and I hate his like brand of humor. It just doesn't work for me. So
Mhm.
when that started happening, I was like, oh, here we go. And like, but when I really checked out of the movie was during the Illuminati because like it's exciting. It's like these random people, but it was like, oh my god, you're literally doing nothing with these. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, I love the idea of Wanda showing up and like killing these powerful people, whatever.
Mhm.
But I don't know. It just felt cheap. I don't like I compared it to No Way Home and like Toby
Mhm.
and Andrew showing up, and that when they showed up, you were
There
like,
was
okay,
weight to that.
there was weight. You were like, okay, it's fan service, whatever, but it was weighty, and it was like you knew like the writer, you could feel that the writers like were really like gunning for this, and they really wanted them to be there, and they were like trying to make them work with the story a lot, blah blah blah. This just felt like an excuse for them this just felt like an excuse for fan service, if that
Oh,
makes
for
any
sure.
sense.
Oh, for
They were
sure.
like,
For
oh,
sure.
here's John Krasinski as whatever the fan cast, and here's Mario Rambeau, and here's Black Bolt from the Inhumans TV show that nobody watched, and
Mhm.
here's Professor X who says a line from Days of Future Past, and they play the theme from the
From the
comics or
animated
the
series.
animated series, and it's like, oh wow, okay. And then Wanda kills them in 5 minutes, and they each of them literally gets 2 lines,
Yeah.
literally, and it's like, is this what this movie is? I don't know. I didn't vibe with it. And then Mordo gets stuck in a hole, and then we don't cover it. Like, what? I'm so confused. Like, what was what? Like, he doesn't even get an ending. He's just like, he's not even stuck. He just doesn't chase after like Strange.
Yeah. This is why I hate you.
This is why my universe, my myself in that universe hates you. Now I understand, and I'm like, what is happening? What is this movie? I
Oh
don't
my
know.
god. And I felt like, okay, before this movie came out, we were very scared for this movie just because it had a lot to do. And now leaving the movie, in hindsight, it's like it didn't do any of the things that we
It
thought it had to do.
literally did not do anything that like we thought it would do, and what it had to do. This was
Yeah.
just like a bunch of stuff happening on screen. Like, I remember leaving the theater and telling you, this felt like Rise of Skywalker, in the sense that this felt like a bunch of scenes stuck together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no, I don't know, like I can't. I'm like
It
getting
was
angry
just
again.
it was an exhausting movie kind of to watch too, because it was like it was action after action after action. There
The
was
pacing
no
was
time to chill.
crazy,
There was
like
no time to chill.
cracked
And
out.
it was so funny because in the beginning, some like scenes were sped up, like pans were very fast. Like even like when Christine Palmer entered the wedding, that was a very fast shot.
Yes, yes.
And I told you both times, I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna be like a quick ride." Okay.
Yeah, they were running through, and there's no reason. Like, Marvel movies are long. They are
Mm-hmm.
long, and there was no reason for this to be short. Like, I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't anybody that was like, you have to make this movie short.
Mm-hmm.
This was like an intentional decision.
I will say, it felt like a long movie.
It felt like a long movie because I fucking hated it.
It
I
felt
was like,
so it felt so dense.
I was hating what I was seeing, and I was like, when is this gonna be over? Like, when Zombie Strange grew wings and was flying
Mm-hmm.
through towards Wanda, I was like, when is this movie gonna end? Like, I don't want to see this anymore.
Bitch, I was fine with the wings. I was fine with I was fine with the wings. I was not fine with like the Evil Dead, like murderer, like all that.
At
And it's like,
when he like made them attack Wanda, and they were doing like close-ups on her, I started like fucking laughing.
yeah.
It looked so funny and ridiculous. I was like, am I supposed to take this seriously? She was like, and I'm like, what? Elizabeth Olsen, I'm sure you're acting like on a green screen, but like, oh my god, this is crazy. Like, what is
Yeah.
happening? I will say one thing we failed to mention. The one good thing to me about this movie, America Chavez, was great. I really like America
I
Chavez.
really like the American on this.
Yeah, me
She
too.
is pretty much a plot device, but
She's a
I
plot
like
device. I will say she's a plot device. She has no arc in this movie
it.
at all.
She
There's a
kind of she does
there's
with her powers, but that's it.
there's a point A, which is like, I can't control my powers, and point B, which is like, I can control my powers. There is no arc to that. Strange
Yeah.
at the end just tells her, you can do it, and she's like, I can do it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then
We
she
didn't
does
get a
it.
progression of her getting a little bit of control of her power, and then
Yeah.
like it was
There's
just
no progression at all.
yeah.
So it's not an arc. There's like a point A and point B. And I'm like, sure, whatever. And that, even then, was the most cohesive part of the movie. So,
This makes the movie feel like a joke because we went into the movie thinking that the only thing we'll hate is America Chavez.
yes, yeah, it feels like the universe is laughing at us. Because we were dragging like America Chavez and Sochi Gomez. Nothing against her personally, but like, I'm not a fan of the casting.
Mm-hmm.
But she did really great. Just not a fan of the casting visually, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I'm not feeling it. She was great. She was great. My concerns about the casting are still there, but like, she was the best part of the movie to me.
Yeah,
So like
she was good.
she did
She
great.
was good.
So like
Mhm.
I can't like criticize her for that. Um yeah, we were like, she's gonna be the worst part of the movie, blah blah blah, like memes and laughing and shit. Little did we know, she's the movie saving grace because this shit was not a. I can't.
Can I say I actually okay? I don't know how much of a hot take this is here in the MK verse,
Yeah,
but I actually liked Wanda in this movie. I didn't like how they treated her, but I liked how crazy and scary she was. I just wish that it was a slow descent to madness, like during the movie. Like I don't know. I wish she went batshit crazy, but like she started with the version we ended WandaVision with.
I liked Wanda in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we went back to the hotel, we were talking about it because we couldn't not talk about the movie and save it for the
Yeah,
spoiler cast. And I
yeah.
was like, at the beginning of the movie, when Wanda was like acting a little creepy and scary, I was like, okay, I could see how WandaVision Wanda and Multiverse of Madness Wanda are still the same person, right? Like I
Mm-hmm.
can see that
Mm-hmm.
through line of her like going a little crazy, but that's still like Wanda Maximoff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And then as the movie went on, she kept getting exponentially more comical to the point where it was crazy. Like she was walking like the Terminator by the end of it. And I'm like,
Oh, for
to
sure. For
me,
sure.
like this is cool imagery, but like this is not like the character.
Khalifa,
Like this is not the
they
same
made her into
character.
like they made her into like a slasher movie character. Like it's like this like Jason Voorhees. Like she's like like
It was very
walking
that.
very
And
fast
I'm
behind
like,
them. They're like ah, they're like running away.
and I'm like, a month ago, this girl was crying to a robot saying like, "You're my sadness and my hope." Like
Yeah.
they were crying and like music was swelling as he was disappearing. And I'm like, I can't. I just can't. Like I quote unquote like her in this movie
Mm-hmm.
because she's a crazy villain,
Mm-hmm.
but like it's not one like if you wanted to do this, do it with someone new or do it with someone that hasn't been in the MCU for a while. I don't know. It's just WandaVision just happened. So it's a little jarring. I like
Mm-hmm.
she was at 100 from the very beginning of the movie. And I'm
Yeah.
like, if you want to convince us she was possessed by the dark hold and you're not doing this shitty storyline, okay, show us her descent. Show us her
Mhm.
slowly going crazy, as you said.
I wish we
Just
had.
I don't
I
know.
wish we had. I wish we had like a some kind of special WandaVision episode that dropped before this movie that shows
Something.
that shows
Yeah.
us like for example she's in the cabin, she's trying to get over everything, and she has the Darkhold obviously after she defeated Agatha, so she
Yeah.
has it with her, and she hears like
Yeah.
whispers from the Darkhold, and like the Darkhold says like, oh like you know like we can see the seduction of it, and like
Yes.
you know
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
it's like she's like no I can't do that and blah blah, and then the Darkhold's like well you don't have to do anything, you can just go to another universe and be with your kids, and it's like huh like I wish we had something.
Yeah. She instead like she's crazy mode from the beginning. 10 sorry. 10 minutes into this movie, she's like, if you don't have if you don't hand over American Chavez peacefully, I will literally kill everyone.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, for
we are
sure.
10 minutes into this movie. Like
Like
what the fuck?
starting this movie off with I'm gonna kill this child and take her powers so I can live my life is like that's already an extreme.
I can't. He was Doctor Strange was like, "You're gonna kill a child." She was like, "I don't enjoy hurting anyone, but she's not a child." I'm like, "What? Girl, what are you saying, Wanda?"
You know if America Chavez was white, she wouldn't have said that. I'm kidding.
um, it's just it's great. Like I don't know. Like it just hurts. Like
Mhm.
Wanda was I hate saying was because
Mhm.
it's a was now. Wanda was my favorite character in the MCU. I just can't, in good cop, just have her number one after this. Like they ruined her. To me, they ruined the character. I saw like that's not Wanda. I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I
Like
feel like
I can't.
we said this before the movie where we were like, oh, they might ruin Wanda, but like we still have WandaVision and like someone's gonna come and fix her after.
Yeah.
I'm still that mindset where I'm like, I am kind of crushed with how they treated her in this movie. And I'm like, ooh, I wish. Okay, I'm happy that they showed us how powerful she is and stuff like that. There are stuff that I'm happy about, but I'm just not happy with her character arc and her like her emotional decline. Like she had no empathy at all in this
Can I
movie.
interject?
Yeah.
There is no character arc. She was one note throughout the whole thing.
A
One
period.
note
What?
throughout the whole movie until the end when
Mm-hmm.
those two little boys started singing about ice cream or some shit. She was like crying, and she was like, "Oh my god, I'm scaring you."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the Darkhold suddenly has no possession over me. I realize what I'm doing is wrong. America Chavez punched me. Goodbye.
I will say I do like how that was resolved. I just don't like the whole like the castle breaking on her and like, oh, is she dead? Is she not? There was a
I
red bubble.
hated
Like,
I hated the resolution because it was not earned. I hated it because it's like it wasn't like a slow realization. I don't know, like it just happened, and I'm like, you were crazy 3 minutes ago.
mm-hmm.
I don't know, like I don't know. Everything is just happens too quick in this movie. Like if I was doing all that, like killing people, going crazy, I'm not gonna realize that all I've been doing was terrible in 3 minutes. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be in denial about it for like a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. Like she kills the other. Well, she throws the other Wanda. Whatever. The children are scared. She goes up to speak to them. They're like, "No, don't touch me." And she's like, "Oh my god, they're scared of me." Okay, خلاص. What? Like that
Well,
to me? That's not like I
She
don't know.
didn't decide on anything. She was just like, I really liked that she like just fell to the ground and cried when that happened because I'm like, because it showed like that like, oh, what is going on? Like, I don't know. It's not like there was a resolution in the movie. Okay, she stopped being the villain at that moment. That is true. But I feel like within her, it's like, okay, my kids are scared of me. Shit, what am I doing? And I'm gonna like. And she just started crying until like the other one that came and consoled her.
That also all happens in 5 minutes. I don't know. I don't know. Like okay, like that sequence of events makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
but for all of it to happen in such a short amount of time, it's crazy to me. I don't know. I don't know. The more I talk about
Ooh.
this movie, the more I dislike it. I don't know. It makes me actively angry, and I sound like a crazy like comic book nerd. Whatever. I don't care. Like I I don't like anything about this movie. I don't even know why I have it 2.5 stars. I don't think it deserves even that. I don't like anything about this. I hated it. I hated it. It looked fine. It looked beautiful, I guess, at parts. I can give it
Mm-hmm.
that. I don't know. It starts off with like a CGI sequence that's straight out of Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Like what?
Mm-hmm.
The color palette and like America Chavez running, and it's like they're not explaining anything. The Book of Vishanti, which by the way went nowhere. They had this whole plot line about this book that can like, you know, help control the Darkhold and evil and blah blah blah. They literally do not do anything with it. It's like for the first half of the movie, that's the goal is to get the Book of Vishanti,
Mm-hmm.
and then Mordo poisons them, and then they go to the Illuminati, and then that whole storyline is dropped.
No,
Like
then they find the Book of Vishanti there, and then but Wanda destroys it.
that is true. That is true. But even then, it didn't lead anywhere.
It didn't go anywhere. That is true.
So it's like, what was the point of all of that? You know what I mean? If one's just gonna destroy it, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And then at the end, she destroys the dark. She destroyed the Darkhold in all
In all
universes.
universes, like,
It's like
okay, girl, we're
okay.
doing too much.
And
But
then
okay.
Wanda had like these 4 weird creatures guarding her at the temple, and it's like there's a temple on top of like Mount Wandagore that has like a Scarlet Witch throne or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, okay, that's interesting, but they don't delve into like the backstory of that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Because
for sure.
like,
Because like we're still like told through like everything in the MCU so far that the Scarlet Witch is a myth and whatever,
yeah,
and like they're treating the Scarlet Witch as a separate entity
Yeah.
from Wanda. Like Wanda
Yeah.
isn't the Scarlet Witch, but it's almost like two people. It's very Willem Dafoe Green Goblin, where it's like two people inhabiting the same body.
It's very much so in WandaVision, in the Darkhold, it says that Wanda is like she's made, not born, whatever, something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
she's like her power exceeds blah blah blah. And it's like they dropped that hint there, and it's so exciting because it's like, oh my god, like she's not just like she's like a part of the lore of the universe almost. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like so, like crazy weird. And
Yeah.
then you get to it in Multiverse of Madness, and oh, she has like a castle and whatever. And it's like, okay, what are you gonna do with it? And then they don't explain it. She's just, oh,
At
okay, this is
all.
my castle
Yeah.
and my
At
throne.
all. At
And I'm
all.
like,
It was like, this is my throne. It's like, what?
what? Like, there's no baby. There's no seat. Where's the throne?
She was sitting on her knees.
Girl, if this is a throne, get a refund because, like, where is the seat? Where's the chair?
I will say though, bitch, Wong's hair pissed me the fuck off during this movie because he had a buzz cut sometimes, he had like long hair sometimes, and it's like it was very obvious where the reshoots happened, and it's like Benedict Wong probably he was like, I'm not cutting my hair for this. I'm coming, I'm doing my shit, I'm leaving. It was
It's just, and like when I was watching it, I think, and I apologize that I keep saying this because we did talk about the movie, but I think I mentioned this to you. I said nobody in this movie felt like they wanted to be in this movie. I got that vibe while watching it. Like I had the vibe that nobody was enjoying themselves. Like it felt like everybody was in it for the check except Chavez, who was just excited to be there. It felt like,
yeah.
like so I don't know, like I want to know the reaction of like the
I want to see what
actress
Elizabeth Olsen thinks
when
of
she
the
read the
movie.
script. When she read the script, I wanted to see her reaction.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, what? I don't know.
She said something. I saw it on Twitter. She said that she wants to sit with like super fans of Wanda and see where they want the characters to go. And it's very much like I don't trust the studios in taking
Bitch,
this
if I was
character.
her, me too, I would do that because I was like, what are you doing? Like, what is this? I don't know.
I thought she ate that though. Like her delivery in a lot of these lines was iconic.
Listen, everybody was saying Elizabeth Olsen deserves an Oscar for this, whatever. I wouldn't go that
I
far.
wouldn't go that far.
She did great in this movie. I do feel like the writing, she did the best with what she got.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I
I
appreciate
really
that.
liked the comebacks that they gave her though. Like, like what mouth? Like that's so like.
This
That's
is.
so constant. And bitch, when she what was it?
I
Oh my
hope you
god,
have a mother, whatever.
yeah, that like, oh, is your wife still alive? Yeah. Okay, then they have a mother to look after them, and she goes and kills them, and then there was something else that she did. This was not like a sassy comeback, but it was a good comeback. When she was like, I blew a hole on the head of the man that I love, and it meant nothing. And it's like, oh, love that. Like I feel like that was the line that I felt the most during the movie.
Well, apparently she went through all of WandaVision and it meant nothing too. So, I will say this is where we disagree. The only line she said that I really liked was at the beginning when she was like, then it won't be Wanda coming for her. It's going to be the Scarlet Witch. So you better be like,
Oh, that was
you
a
better
good
have
line
her
too.
vision. That was the last thing she said, like quote unquote badass, powerful line. She said that I liked. Everything that afterwards was just like I was rolling my eyes to the back of my skull because it was like, oh, this is Terminator Wanda talking. Like I don't like this.
Oh wait, come on. When she went to Camartage and then she possessed that one person, that was
Run, fuck off.
that
No,
was cool.
sorry.
That was
Like
cool. No,
did not
we're
work
just
for me.
hating to hate at this point. That was
no,
really
I'm not hating to hate. It's not Wanda, and I hated what they did with the character. Sorry that I feel that way. If you like it, you like it. I don't. And that's
but that part was cool though.
I don't like it. I didn't like it. I thought it was garbage, just like the rest of this fucking movie. I hated this fucking movie. I'm not gonna be coerced to
Bitch,
fucking like
you were
it.
enjoying this part in the theater.
I wasn't. I was fucking forcing myself to enjoy it. I hated what was happening. I hated it. I hated it, but I was like, you know what? This is campy. I'm gonna like it, whatever, because the rest of the movie is gonna be cool. But it wasn't. And now looking back on it, I fucking hate all of it. I fucking hate everything they did with her. I hate it, and it's making me angry and upset. I'm actually
Yeah.
upset.
Mm.
I don't know. I hated everything they did with this character. I like. It felt like they took something I loved and like crushed her into pieces. Like I'm actually crushed. I hated everything they did with her. I hated it. Like when she was like, when she possessed that person, she was like, run, and there was no music or whatever. That was just like, I don't know. I get that
I
she was
loved it.
possessed
I
by the
was here
dark
for it.
hold, whatever, but that's just not Wanda. That's just not the person that was like, you are my sadness and my hope. Like and she was crying, and like I don't like that. Those are not the two same people to me. They're just not. They're just not.
They're not. Oh,
I love
they're not for
WandaVision
sure.
too much to accept this. I don't accept this. I don't care how cunty it is. I don't care how powerful it is. I don't care how yes it is. That's not the same person. I'm sorry. I can have a separation in my mind of like, this is cunty, this is cute, and also this is not what the character is. And to me, that's not what Wanda is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it pisses me off. If I was watching this movie in a vacuum, not knowing who Wanda was, I'm like, oh my god, this is a great villain. Very much giving
Hella.
Hela from Thor Ragnarok and
Yeah.
whatever. Like period. You better work. You know what I mean? Very all that. But it's like I did not go through the emotional journey of WandaVision. I did not cry at the end of that. I did not get so emotionally attached to Wanda for this to
Mm-hmm.
happen. You know what I mean? It felt like someone had stabbed me in the back. It genuinely felt like that. And I'm sure like I'm going crazy over like a fucking superhero movie, whatever. I don't care. Like, but like I don't know. I don't know. I'm just it upsets me. It upsets me. Period. Sorry, I got heated there. This movie is making me heated. It made me heated.
Mm-hmm.
It made me heated. And I don't feel like even the things I hate that I do not like, they don't get me angry. Like I when I was watching Rise of Skywalker, I had like rewatched the entirety of the Star Wars, movies and blah blah blah. Like I put a lot of effort into it. And I watched some of
Mm-hmm.
like, some of the I was watching Mandalorian, I watched some of the animated stuff, and Rise of Skywalker was garbage. But I wasn't heated. I just liked it, but I wasn't heated. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Same thing happened with Hawkeye, which I was really excited for. Um, Kate Bishop didn't really click with me like I was hoping she would. I loved her in the comics, but I wasn't heated about it. I was like, you know what, whatever. It's just Wanda specifically. I love so much. I don't know, she just means a lot to me. Like that character
Yeah.
means a lot to me. For
Mm-hmm.
for me to see them do this to her, it just hurts. And even if someone comes after and fixes her up or whatever, blah blah blah, even if she gets a redemption, like this movie is gonna exist forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This movie is gonna be a part of her character journey forever. And I
Mm-hmm.
hate that. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. And I don't hate that she's a villain. That's not what I hate about it, because she was a villain in Age of Ultron. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just the way they did it, the way they turned her
Yeah.
into a comical, like crazy. I don't know. I was just like, she was so, and I don't think WandaVision is like peak TV, prestige TV, whatever. Like, I don't think the writing in WandaVision comes close to anything HBO puts out. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But like, she was so meticulously written in that show for like Disney standards and for Marvel standards that seeing what happened, I don't,
It was
it's
almost a
just crazy.
caricature of her.
It was almost a caricature of her. It felt like a character assassin. Like it felt like they went out of their way to like completely take away everything WandaVision did. And that's what pissed me off. Like it felt like you went through this emotional journey with Wanda, the sitcom stuff, her backstory, everything with Vision, everything with the kids, and it's like, okay, we're just gonna turn her crazy now. And like that's just not the direction they should have taken with her. That's just not. And I
Mm-hmm.
Sam Raimi's not at fault completely. Michael Waldron's not at fault completely. I'm sure like this decision had everyone from top to bottom like making it, you know what I mean, based on
Mm-hmm.
what they want to do in the future, blah blah blah, whatever. I'm sure this is leading somewhere. But like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just did not work for me on any level. It just didn't. It just didn't. The only thing I liked her
Oh, you cut off.
little hex thing.
You cut off. The
Oh,
only thing
am I
you
okay
like?
now?
Yeah.
The only thing I liked was at the beginning when she was like when she had the fake hex put up.
Oh yeah.
That's the only thing I liked when she switched it back and she was like the lying was the hardest part. And I'm like, okay, that's Wanda. Like she doesn't like to lie. But she's
Mm-hmm.
like a little unhinged and crazy. Like it felt like her. And I wish she stayed at that level for the rest of the movie. Not I'm gonna walk into the Illuminati and I'm gonna shut this person's off so they use their power on the inside and blow their head off. Like I'm gonna cut
Mm-hmm.
Captain Carter in half. I'm gonna crush Monica Maria Rambeau with a statue. I'm gonna shred John Krasinski like paper. Like I don't it just I can't I don't accept that. I personally don't accept that, and I'm sure a lot of people don't mind it. I'm sure not everyone is as attached to Wanda as I am. I'm sure um, everyone loves that she goes crazy, blah blah blah. Look how powerful the Scarlet Witch is, blah blah blah. I don't care about anyone else. This movie has a 3.6 on Letterboxd. I don't think it deserves even half of that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people like this movie. Okay, you love Sam Raimi, whatever, blah blah blah. This movie to me was absolute garbage across the board. I do not like it. I do not like it. I do not like it. It's my least favorite movie of Phase Four. Anything Phase Four. I even liked when I redid the ranking after I rated it 2.5. I put even Black Widow above it because I
Mm-hmm.
was like, you know what? I look back on Black Widow and I'm like, you know what? Yelena was there and she was great, and her chemistry and her chemistry with Natasha was wonderful, and like I love the family dynamic. Black Widow has a lot of problems, but at least I like that. Taskmaster was garbage, but at least I like that. I look back on this movie and I go, what did I like about this? You know what I mean? I look back on this movie
Yeah.
and I ask myself, what did I like about this? America Chavez, I guess. What else? Nothing. So I don't know. I don't know. It did not work for me on any level. I
For me, it is. Oh,
sorry.
it's in the ranking. It's also right under Black Widow.
I can't. I can't. The only thing that's under this from Phase Four is What If
Yeah.
to
No,
me.
actually, for me, it's a lot of Phase Four. Actually, for me, it's Falcon, Eternals, Shang-Chi, Hawkeye, and What If.
I look back, aside from What If, I look back on all of those, and I can pick out stuff that I enjoyed, that I really liked about those shows. I know they didn't come together at the end, both the movies and the shows, but I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, they did this very well. They did this very well. They did this very well. I
Oh
look
yeah,
back
for sure.
on Multiverse of Madness, and I don't know what they did very well. I just don't. There's nothing about this movie that I can look at and say, oh, they did this very well. I don't know. I don't know. I don't see it. I look
Sure.
back on this movie and Wanda's crazy and killing everyone, and Doctor Strange is hopping into boring universes and fighting himself with musical notes, and then he's growing wings. And America Chavez is like, "Hey, I killed my two moms because I opened the multiverse or whatever." Um, and like they're jumping around, and America Chavez is crying and running. Wanda is popping out of reflections. She's cracking her neck, and her face is like all
This was
shattered
the
and
only
shit.
thing that this was the biggest thing that didn't go with me. Like this thing when she came out and walked like backwards, like the girl from The Ring. It's
I
like okay.
like I look back on this and it's like I don't think this movie did anything well. The score it wasn't giving like the motifs weren't carried over. You barely hear Wanda's theme in this movie. They played the jingle from WandaVision, but I think that's it. Her theme is
Mm-hmm.
not in this movie. They played the
Yeah.
Doctor Strange theme once. The rest of the music is completely original. I thought we were past like not carrying motifs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
In Hawkeye, the Elena reveal was so good because they played her theme.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In this movie, nothing. I don't know. I look back on this and it's like
They played the Professor X thing.
from the animated show for
Yeah.
like 5 seconds, so people can go, oh, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I can't. I look back on it and it's like genuinely, this movie did nothing well.
Professor X didn't do it for me. Like I think Patrick Stewart like outgrew the role. Like
He was
it's
just.
just
I
not
mean,
his
props to
it's
him.
just
He
not
was in
his
it
thing
for the
anymore.
check. He was in it for the check. Props to him.
I will
Props
say I
to
really
him.
liked the visuals in the movie. I thought the visuals were really good, except for that one scene in the beginning battle where Wong is like thrown into the car and he like ragdolls. Like we both looked at each other. The CGI was really bad there.
Yeah.
But
I
I thought
thought
visually it was really good.
I thought the movie looked great. Yeah, visually it looked great. There a lot of colors, a lot of it looked great. I'll
Mhm.
give it that. It looked fine. Yeah. Pros: the movie looks great. America Chavez, great. What a list. Wonderful,
Mm.
incredible, amazing, spectacular. I don't know. It just pisses me off, and I understand that I'm being harsh on it, and I know my rating of it is not objective because objectively this is a fine movie.
Mhm.
But that's not what I'm going off of. When I rate movies, I don't go off of like what objectively the movie was. Um, on the contrary to what many believe, because allegedly I'm a critic or whatever,
Mhm.
I go by my expectations and what I got. And my
Mhm.
expectations were high, and what I got was shit.
Mhm.
So I will rate this movie shit. And this movie was shit to me. Period.
And yet you claim you're not a critic.
I'm not a critic. This movie was shit. What's so critical
Period.
about that? I didn't come on here and say, "Oh, well, technically, Wanda's, the juxtaposition between Wanda." I'm like, that's what I don't do all that. I had high expectations, and the movie was shit compared to
Mhm.
those expectations. So I thought the movie was shit.
Period.
If that makes me a critic, then so be it. But I don't think so, and I don't love the implication of like, oh. Khalifa is such a critic. He always like views these like he doesn't know how to have fun. Blah blah blah. There you go. This is what me having fun looks like. This is what me being invested and not viewing something critically looks like. I fucking hated this movie because I had high expectations and I loved the character. There you go.
Par. I don't know how to respond to that. This is already an iconic episode of MK.
I have been very angry about this movie since I've watched it, and a couple of things have happened since the movie in my life that have made me very angry also, and it's
Mhm.
kind of all being pent up to this moment,
Mhm.
and I'm just letting it all out right now.
Period. I'm gonna go on record and say that I don't hate the movie. I'm okay with it. I'm whelmed with it.
I love that for you.
I wasn't impressed. I was disappointed in a lot of aspects. But I didn't hate the movie. I just wasn't impressed. It didn't do. I didn't gain anything from the movie. That I think that's the best thing that I can say. Like I didn't leave the movie feeling excited about anything. I didn't leave the movie feeling hopeful about anything. I was just left the movie. I don't know. It very much reminded me of like being a kid and watching a movie where it's like, okay, cause the movie's over. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go back
okay,
to my
that
life.
happened. Yeah,
Huh?
it looks like
Yeah,
the
yeah. It's like
feeling
okay,
about
that
that
happened.
happened.
Let me
Yeah,
move on.
yeah. They do this post credit scene of
Oh,
like,
wait. Can I say how when the movie ends? Okay, so once the movie goes batshit crazy, Evil Dead horror vibes, okay, they start
by the
doing
way,
this
can I
thing.
interject, please? Please, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Whoever called this movie a horror movie was out of their fucking minds. Nothing in this movie was fucking scary.
I
The
was
impressions
scared.
were the impressions were coming out, and like they were like, oh my god, people were fainting. I'm like, what the fuck are you
Okay,
talking
we're not
about?
gonna go that far. Maybe if it was a kid, yeah, but we're not gonna go that far. I thought, okay. Something else I liked about the movie it is that it wasn't scared to go there in terms of like gore and blood, but I do feel like this movie was restricted with a PG-13 rating. Like I feel like if this was rated R, I would have loved to see how far they could go with like the bloodiness and all of that. I don't know. I just liked how bloody this movie was.
I liked the way they avoided the PG-13 restrictions because when one that's covered in quote unquote blood, it's not blood. It's Ultron bought
It's
oil,
Ultron oil. Yeah,
but it
yeah.
looks like blood.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
I thought that was very clever. Congratulations, Sam Raimi. You did something well, I guess.
And even when fucking Captain Carter gets chopped in half, you don't see it. Like
You don't
you
see
just
it. You just see the shield and it's all bloody.
yeah.
Um, by the way, my second favorite bloody shield scene, with the first being in
Oh,
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
period. Of course.
Like this was already done and they outsold. So okay, but sure.
I thought
Okay.
Maria ate also. but like with what she was there for
with what
only a
she
little
was
bit.
given, I don't know, like every single person that I was like, okay, they ate in this movie. It's like, okay, with an asterisk, with what they were given. You know
Yes,
what I
yeah,
mean?
for sure.
It's like an okay, you ate, I guess.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't
I
know.
liked
I don't
Captain
know.
Carter in this movie as well. Anyways, I'm forgetting what I was gonna say. Wait,
When
what
the
did you
movie
say?
ended,
Okay, okay. No. When it was when it went. Okay, I thought the movie was scary. At some points, I was actually scared of Wanda for like a little bit. They made her like a monster, and they changed up her face so much in some of these scenes where she looks like a monster sometimes, and it's like, okay, um, let's calm down. Like when she kills Professor X, her face was like this. That was not Wanda, bitch. Like that was whatever. Anyways, when the movie goes like the horror route, there's this thing that happens. There's this like note that plays every time a jump scare happens, and then they overuse that note and like they use it for transitions and they use it for like Wong waking up or like something, and it's like, and it's treated like this horror like like moment, and it's like, okay, let's calm down. So when the movie ends and everything is like fixed or quote unquote, Strange, are you still here?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
just listening.
Strange walks out of his place and like he walks around and like happy music is playing, almost like Spider-Man MCU music is playing, and he's walking
Yeah,
around, and then like an electric guitar hits, and it's like, oh, what happens? And then he's like, he falls to the ground, and he starts screaming. It's like, what's happening? And then a third eye opens, and
I
that
can't.
sound effect, the jump scare sound effect plays, and the movie ends, and it's like we both look at each other, we're like, what? In hindsight, I get it. Like he's corrupted by the Darkhold, haha. But
If the Darkhold is used as this like fucking MacGuffin for the rest of this phase, put this phase under phase one, because I don't want to hear the Darkhold ever again. I don't want to hear this shit again. I don't. I
this
don't.
fucking book is traumatizing.
I don't like. I literally get PTSD from that name. Literally, like I don't want to hear about the Darkhold ever again. Okay, like you can keep it. Fucking bullshit.
So he gets this third eye, which we're like, okay, whatever that means. And then the post-credit scene plays, and it's right after this scene he continues his walk apparently after the third eye opens, and then out of nowhere a portal opens, and then Clea shows up, played by Charlize Theron, and it's like, okay.
And it's
And
like
she's
they
like,
set it up in a way that it's supposed to excite you, and I'm like, I don't know
bitch,
what the fuck is happening.
bitch. She shows up and she's like, Doctor Strange, you come with me now, blah blah. And it's like, whatever. What the fuck ever.
And it's like, is that supposed to make me excited? I don't know what I just watched. I don't. How will I be excited for that? I don't
Her
know.
makeup ate though. Did you notice her makeup?
Yeah,
Her makeup ate. But
the
that's it. I
eyeshadow
didn't
team
like
was
the
going
costume.
wild in this movie.
Oh, for
Like
sure. Oh, for
they
sure.
had like an over, like they had a, like a, um, what's the thing when the supply is way over the demand? They had a,
And
um,
over something.
I don't know. They had like an oversupply of eyeshadow makeup, and they just used it all on Wanda and Clay.
Yeah.
Like they were like, okay, we have to use this. Like we wasted budget on this. And yeah, the makeup was
I did like
interesting.
how Wanda's makeup started off as like red, and then as the movie progressed, it was like black to show like how evil she was getting. I like
We're
that.
grasping at straws at this point to find things we liked, because if we're complimenting the eyeshadow and how much darker it got
No,
during the
because
rest
by
of
the
the
time she
movie.
gets to her kids, when her kids got scared of her, and they showed Wanda in that scene, I was like, oh, she does look kind of scary. Like because the way that they did her hair and her makeup, like she does look like a scary witch, and it's like, okay, like I like that.
Sure.
Anyways,
Did you find it scary when
what?
she was floating? They played the rock song. Was that scary?
No, I did not. That was definitely scary. Yeah, the song
In
was
a
cool.
different way.
Yeah, this felt like the most 2000 thing for me. Like this the rock song that played when Wanda was like floating and looking for like through the multiverse. It's like, okay, what is happening?
I
And the overlays and the transitions. Hello, like these
But
were
it's
not
Sam
needed.
Raimi. It's his signature. It's fine. It's
Bitch,
wonderful.
these were not needed.
Ugh.
The overlays were fine. I was very okay with the overlays. I was not okay with like the whole like circle thing. That the one that like closes the screen and opens it. It's like I don't know. We're getting to like Star Wars levels of transitions here.
We're getting to Star Wars levels of writing. If we're honest,
Yeah.
everything about this movie like screams sequel trilogy to me. I'm sorry, it was giving very that.
Bitch, it wasn't even sequel trilogy.
It was prequel.
It was very much. It was giving Attack of the Clones. It's like, okay, I see what I like here, but like, this is Attack of the Clones.
I can't. This movie makes me angry. Like, I don't get angry about a lot of media. I just don't. But
So
when
at this
something
point of the
pisses me
movie,
off, I can't.
at this point of the movie, Khalifa was already like really upset, and then the
I
second
was,
post credit scene.
while like I'm telling you, like the moment I like fully shut down and was like upset was when like halfway through the Illuminati stuff. I was like, this is not a good movie.
This is not vibing.
No,
Yeah.
no. But then yeah, go. You would say what you want to say because I agree.
Yeah, and then the second post credit scene plays, and it's literally just Bruce Campbell, just being stupid, and it's like, okay, like it's not even funny.
It's Bruce Campbell like stopping punching himself, which was set up like earlier in the movie.
Yeah,
He looks
like,
at the
"It's
camera
over!"
and says, "Well, it's over," and I dropped half a star because of that. I was like, you know what? Bye.
Like the joke isn't even funny. Like
It's not
I
funny.
saw reaction, like I saw theater reactions. Like literally nobody laughed, and then the screen went black, and then some people like chuckle, like because like it's Marvel, and like they think, oh, they're supposed to laugh.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The row behind us was in denial. Like there was this girl, and she was like the annoying girl that was with us in the theater. That she was like, finally, every time like an ad ended.
Every time an ad ends, yeah.
She was like, wait, there has to be more, and like the lights were going.
Her parents were leaving, and she was like, "Please, let's wait. Please, let's wait." and then when she left, we saw that she was wearing a Wanda costume, and we were like, "Oh, the poor thing. We're sorry."
I'm so sorry. I can't. This is one of
I
the few.
wish. Look, I wish Wanda was the villain, but I wish they had stuff in there that made us still root for her. I still rooted for her because of my blind Wandaism, but like there was nothing there. Like realistically, if I didn't know the character, there's nothing to root for. Like she's ruthless in this movie, and it's like
no sympathy points to the point where when she was crying at the end, I felt nothing. I was like, you literally just murdered like 1,500 people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel any type of emotional like empathy for you. I just can't.
Yeah, there was no complexity to her. There's like every time she was bad one time. Well, WandaVision does count. She was bad in WandaVision, I guess.
Yeah.
But you can see like not a justification, but they show the complexity of the situation, and you kind of like feel for her. It's like, okay, what you're doing is not right, but I get you. I know what I know what you're doing. I know what's going on.
Exactly.
But that wasn't here.
They don't do it in this movie at all. At all. There was no I get you. There was no whatever. I like you're showing me, oh, the universe is where she's happy with her kids. I've seen that already in WandaVision. You know what I mean? This isn't justification for what's happening right now at all. Like, I don't know. And in WandaVision, and like the previous two times, technically, she like in WandaVision, she didn't know what she was doing until the very end. And then in Age of Ultron, she was tricked.
Yeah.
So, like, it's also understandable from that perspective.
Know what she was doing until the end.
And here she was quote unquote possessed by the Darkhold, I guess. But then she realized it at the end of the movie. And apparently, like the brain realization of that completely overpowers the Darkhold possession. Allegedly, apparently. Sure. This plot was held together by duct tape. Duct tape.
Yeah.
Like this reminded me of Final Fantasy 15. Whereas like you can see like
you can see the holes.
Cracks. They literally like it's like duct tape together. I don't know.
Apparently 40 minutes of this movie were taken out before it was released.
Crazy. Yeah. Why? For what reason?
I don't know. Like maybe 40 minutes would have made the movie a little worse, but it depends on where they were. Like if the 40 minutes were like Wanda centric and like they were showing us more from her, like I think we lost something really valuable from the movie.
Yeah. But if it were like
like
more
stupid stuff, like more
strange.
musical fights.
Yeah,
Like
no,
no.
no. Also, yeah,
I'm gonna say I do like what they did with Strange. Okay, I feel like for the first time since his first movie, we get to see more of like who he is. Like he mentioned that he has a sister that died, and it's like, oh, I didn't know that. And like
yeah, me
he
either.
he he has this like part with Christine where he's like, I love you in every universe and blah blah, and it's like, oh, he can feel things. Like he's I don't know. Like he's emoting, which is
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Doctor Strange had always come off like a little cold.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they do a little bit with him in this movie. I don't know. Also, Rachel, quote, like put this in quotes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rachel McAdams is in this movie, part two. The same exact thing as the first movie. Oh, Rachel McAdams is in this, I guess.
She was in this movie for a little bit more than the first one,
Yeah,
but
but like still, she's like, okay, she's there, I
yeah.
guess. I can't believe they wasted her again. It's Rachel McAdams, you guys. You guys. I can't. I
And like we're probably not gonna see her again because now he's gonna go with Clea. By the way,
with Claire.
I noticed that you say Clea, and I
Yeah.
looked up her pronunciation, and it's Clea.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure how to pronounce it, so good to know.
Yeah, me too. That's why I looked it up before the pod just in case.
Period.
So yeah,
Look at you
like
doing research.
so that's why like yeah, probably we're not gonna see Rachel McAdams anymore. Like Miss Theron is
Honestly,
here.
if I mean, go find better work. You can get it. This
Yeah,
isn't.
yeah, for
They're
sure.
doing you a disservice with this. I don't know. Just take me back to, I don't know, Abdullah Al Fooli or whatever. I'd rather stay there. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
don't want
Stan Moon
this.
Knight best.
Stan Moon Knight. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Stan all the other Phase 4 stuff, not including Hawkeye and What If. Like Stan
Yeah.
all that. You know what I mean? Let's not do this. Phase 4 started so well, bitch.
Yeah. I wonder, bitch. I hope Kevin Feige's retreat thing like brings something from this. Like I don't know. Like I wonder where they're gonna go with Wanda because again, obviously she's not dead. Um, like it's very much this thing where like okay, if Marvel wants her dead, she's dead. If they don't want her to be dead, she'll be back. You know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She's
It
not
was cheap.
dead.
It was
She's
cheap.
so cheap.
I hated that.
I hated that too. Like you know she's not good. Like come on. I don't know. I don't know.
And the credit animations, no.
It was so bad. It was.
Yeah.
I remember going into this movie and I'm like, the credits better eat.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of
didn't.
nothing. It was literally nothing. The music wasn't even good.
Yeah.
I can't.
No, this movie was straight out of like the 2000s.
Oh my god, I can't.
Anyways, Khalifa, any final thoughts on Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness?
This is not directed towards you, but the audience. If you like this movie, good for you. I didn't. I hated it, and I will not silence myself.
Period. No, don't. Don't
I will not
silence
myself. I will not have my opinions walked on, like I've been letting the past few, I don't know, past few months of my life. I don't know, whenever someone says something, I'm like, okay, whatever, all right, sure. I'm not gonna have my opinion walked on this. I fucking hated this movie. If you like it, I'm glad you like it. I thought it was atrocious. I thought it did such a disservice to Wanda, who was my favorite character. And I was so disappointed. I hope they don't let Sam Raimi touch anything else. I hope they don't let Michael Waldron touch anything else. If they do, stick to shit that you worked on previously. Where was Jack Schaefer? Why was Jack Schaefer not a part of this movie?
Where
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And don't get guys to write women again. Thanks.
Please.
Because this is what happens.
Thank you. Exactly. This is what happens.
Ugh, fucking dumb shit. I can't.
Because like even America Chavez, which was a good part of the movie, had like the Sam Raimi like scream every second, you know, because Sam Raimi likes like screaming women for some reason.
I can't.
She was screaming the entire movie.
I can't. This movie was fucking awful. I'm sorry. I hope you don't get your little feelings hurt, whatever, because I hated this movie. Not you, but the audience.
I know.
If you have your little fucking feelings hurt because I didn't like this fucking movie, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I don't want to say sorry because I don't have anything to apologize for. This movie was shit. I'm sorry. If you like it, good for you. I'm glad you consume MCU content blindly. There you go. Goodbye.
Period. My final thoughts is, as a great person once said, go back to hell. That's it.
No.
Thank you for another episode of MK. This has been MK Spoilercast on Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. If you want to follow us on social media, our tags are the MK Pod at THEMKAYPOD, the MK Pod THEMKAYPOD in Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. And yeah, I wish
Can I
you
say
all.
something?
Yeah.
I think this is the grumpiest I've ever been on an episode.
Oh, for sure. And I'm thinking of like what the description is going to be, and I have it has to be Khalifa shits on Multiverse of Madness for 70 minutes.
You can tell if you listen to our Euphoria spoiler cast. You can tell I was just disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen to this, you can tell I'm disappointed and angry.
Yeah.
Like they're very.
No,
they're
you
two
did
very
not
different
hold back.
things.
I love that.
What?
I said you didn't hold back. I love that.
I don't. I'm tired of holding back. This is my fucking
Period.
opinion. Sorry.
Yeah. Period.
Goodbye.
Good. With that, I wish you a wonderful day, Khalifa. I wish
You too.
our listeners a wonderful rest of your day, and see you in our next spoiler cast, which is probably going to be Miss Marvel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Can't be worse than this. I'm excited for Miss Marvel now. It can't be worse than this.
I'm excited for Miss Marvel to see like little girls dressed up as Miss Marvel. Like
Me too.
You know, like I'm excited for that moment.
Because nobody's gonna dress up as Wanda after this. I don't think so. We have a new person to dress up as, I guess.
Okay. With that, thank you everyone, and goodbye, Khalifa.
Goodbye. Love you.
Love you too. Bye bye.